Witchcraft is not church. And I think that people who are deconstructing, who come to the craft, and ex-witches who go back to the craft struggle with that, and they struggle to understand it. Because deconstruction is not the same as integration. Those are two separate things. And when Christians leave the church and then come to witchcraft, bring the emotional expectations of church culture with them, and when they don't find it in the witchcraft community, they call us evil or bullies or toxic. Witchcraft is not built on harmony. It is not built on secrets and silence, despite what some may say. Place for accountability and consequences and clarity. Sometimes people from a Christian background will mistake disagreement for persecution. They'll say witches are mean. They'll say witches are evil. They'll say they were attacked for their opinion. In reality, it could be witches calling for someone to be accountable. It could be calling someone in. It could be a disagreement. It could be somebody setting a boundary. There's a lot of strength and power in the awareness that this is Christian trauma echoes. It is something that you have carried over with you from the church you left. Because in the church, you don't rock the boat. You're kind to everybody. You keep things under the rug. You forgive and forget. You keep it in the family. Turn the other cheek. We've seen that a lot. Most importantly, you submit to authority. And witchcraft just doesn't play by those rules. Without realizing it, this leads deconstructing Christians into this path of like passive aggressive silence, and then it builds and the anger builds. So when you have this unresolved harm and then you walk into witchcraft spaces and folk magic spaces and spiritual spaces, it feels like a punch in the face. Because while the witchcraft community can absolutely be toxic, we also have a lot of accountability in our spaces. We call each other out publicly sometimes. We value autonomy over authority. In most cases, it's not cruelty, it's just honesty. And you've got deconstructing Christians who don't realize that and don't see the danger in that kind of thinking, and then they go back to Christianity. They miss that feeling of unity that they had with the church and being on the same team no matter what is happening. Witchcraft, and especially individual witchcraft and folk practices, has never, ever been a group activity. It has never been a one-size-fits-all for each person. It makes it hard. It thrives in tension. It's based on divergence from the norm, from the status quo. We don't have a book to follow. We don't have one God to pray to. It can be really scary to somebody coming from Christian trauma and a Christian background. That is why witchcraft is not the path of least resistance in any way, shape, or form. If you're a witch who has been hurt by somebody who's suddenly turned on you or gone back to the church, it's not your fault. Because when somebody comes from a culture that is built on and worships silence, calls it peace, of course they're going to see honesty as violence. Of course they're going to see it as an attack. The unhealed part of themselves that has nothing to do with you. If you think you're being attacked and you think that witch talk is just full of bullies, we're not actually bullies. You're just not used to accountability. It's a good moment for reflection.